Hello, ladies and gentlemen, it's me again, Insane Gorilla, and welcome back to my channel. And this is going to be part 4, I believe, of what if Belle was a prince slash son of a warden and peacekeeper. So, yeah, this will be going a few months ahead of schedule. Like in his training, because if you remember from the last one, he went to train with Hammer. The Hammer is just a name, as I said in that one, I came up with on the fly. So, yes. But in this, we're going to be starting from a dream he's had during one of his days when he's on the move, walking around. So let's get started, shall we? Well, we start off with in his dream. As he is sleeping. As, well, duh, obviously. He's sleeping if he's having a dream. As, well, he just dreams about all sorts of things. His childhood, where he met someone, and, well, he can't rightly remember their name, to when he met, well, to where he was a baby. For some odd reason, he remembers this. Get the prince to safety. We have to save him. What happens if they catch up to him? One of us must survive, brothers and sisters. We all survive this. We fight as one. We overcome our forgotten king, as he is called, the Forsaken One, and we will regroup with the prince and protect him at all costs, even if we must protect him from the shadows. This is all that they were saying before they put him in the water. As they just say, "Good luck, our prince." As, well, a few seconds later, you hear the screams and cries of them in battle. And then silence for a very, very long time, with Belle still hearing himself floating down the river. As well, he hears and suddenly hears this. There he is, as he hears the sword. I'm sorry, but we can't control ourselves. If somebody can hear me right now, please take our son and leave. Please, I don't want to do this. As a woman's voice would be heard saying, I don't want to do this either. As another one would be heard saying, what are you doing to a baby? As they get pushed out of the way, as he gets pulled out of the water. As it's Mamma Mia. As she runs off, as in the first one they say, thank you, please look after our son. As she says, I swear I thought I heard something. Now, she sees the letter, as well. His dream moves on to somebody talking to him, saying, son, if you can ever hear our voices, it means you're now on the path we took. We became Lord, Warden, and Lady Peacekeeper. The King and Queen of Westmarch, purely by noble decisions. As a woman's voice would be heard, and by the way, that is Belle's mother, as she would say, we never wanted to become a king or queen, but over the years we were looked up to. More in the way of we were the strongest and more worthy to rule by the, royals. They told us how to rule a kingdom, and we ruled it with a firm but yet gentle hand. We, we were happy. We were happy, but then I found out that you were going to be born from me and him, and our lives became so much happier. But live our son and survive. As he would literally see them fade, as he would jump up shouting, "No!" As well, Hammer would run over to him saying, "Belle." Oh, fuck's sake, hang on. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Anyway, as Hammer runs up to Belle saying, young Master Belle, are you alright? What happened? You suddenly shot up saying no." As Belle would just say, I'm fine. I'm fine. Just a nightmare, I guess. With Hammer sort of, well, because Belle can't really see his face, but Hammer is giving off a bit of a worried look. As Hammer just says, "Well, young master, shall we begin training today?" As Belle would just say, "Yes, please. Will hopefully get my mind off of things." As Hammer would get up and throw him Riven, his father's sword. As he would just say, "All right, young Master Belle. Here is your father's sword, Riven. And, well, let's see if I can teach you on how to use it. First, gain this guarding phase." As he would show about what sort of phase he wants him to go into. As he would take a stance of a defending stance. That's what I meant to say, sorry. As Hammer would say, right, now go into a stabbing stance, like if you're going to stab somebody. As Belle would get into a stabbing stance, as he would say, no. You're not holding a small blade, Belle. You're holding a longer blade. So hold it like this. As he would show him how to hold it. With one hand underneath the blade and one hand on the hilt. Having a bit of a... You know what I mean. If you ever play For Honor, you know what I mean. As well, Belle will then copy him, say, right, now lunge. As Belle questions it, as he just shouts, "Lunge, Belle." As Belle then does, with Hammer just blocking it and, well, tapping him on the back with his sword. Not slicing him, just tapping him. As they continue doing this for a good 2 years, going through all the basics. Sorry guys if you can hear me breathing. As well, not Riven, Hammer tells Belle to give it a day off for a bit. He's been working him to the bone. It's time just to have a few days of rest. As Belle would retort saying, "But I thought you told me through those 2 years that wardens never quit. And wardens never give up." As Hammer would just say, "Young Master Belle." As Belle would just say, "For the 258 billionth time, just call me Belle. Not this Master Belle or Prince Belle. Just Belle. I don't even have the right to even be called a prince. Especially after what this Garrel said about my father and mother being usurpers." With Hammer explaining again, saying that his parents were not usurpers, they made a choice and they stuck with it. As woman with a shield and a spear would, with red hair and a long whitish dress, would walk up with a guy, or a man who has grey hair and a lightning bolt in his hand and is actually covered in armour. As they would look at them as they would hear this. Athena, you know we can't really take Westmarch without the proper channels. As Athena would just say, Zeus, you're the god of lightning. You could have literally burned this Garrel guy before he even started anything. And Zeus would just say, well, it would have been quicker to end the war just then, but then it would also be divine intervention. And we both know that us two doing divine intervention will cause problems back in Orario. So, yeah, it's best that we don't cause problems for them. As Athena would just say, it says you who persuaded the boy's father to overthrow him to begin with, because you saw his weakness. As Zeus would just go, do you always have to bring this to my attention all the time? As she would just smirk, saying, yes, I do. Because you were the one who decided to go and do it. Not even bother asking for my counselling on this. But now that they are both now, still in the picture, but under his control, Zeus would just say, Athena, quick one-liner. Don't say that out loud in front of other people. As Athena would say, I'm saying this out loud because they won't even know what we're talking about. As Zeus would just whisper, saying, yes, but I think the boy knows what you're talking about, so shut up. For all of our sakes, shut it. I think I know who that boy is. And I don't particularly want to be ridiculed by him, of all people. Yes. Athena would just giggle, saying, you scared of a mortal? Seriously? You're scared of him? Wow, you must be so small compared to everybody else now. As he would just look at her, saying, seriously? You're the one to talk. You barely have a familiar anymore. Yes, I know my one all got wiped out, but still, you don't barely have one yourself. And she would just sigh, saying, don't remind me of that. That day was a tragedy. Tragedy. Right. More like a slaughter. More like a disaster, Zeus. I think you're looking for the word disaster. We were the strongest familiars at the time, so of course we would take the three great grand quests. As Belle would just walk off, saying, Zeus and Athena. Wow. Ever want to see the legends themselves? Bicker like a married couple? There you go. As Belle would walk away, grabbing, two short swords and Reaver. Oh, not Reaver, Riven. Sorry, I am losing the will to speak. As Hammer would say, Belle. Oh dear. As Athena would stop, saying, I think the boy actually did hear me. With Zeus saying, I'll go and talk to him. You stay here and talk to the knight. Is Hammer would actually bow, saying, Goddess Athena. As she would nod her head, saying, Warden. As she would make a chair and sit down. As those two would start talking with Belle, Zeus actually goes to see Belle, and actually sees Belle practicing movements of a peacekeeper. But notices that his movements are very clunky and very restricting. Even though he's got the right armor set to move like a peacekeeper, he doesn't have the peacekeeper's swiftness and speed. As he would actually walk over to Belle and say, Hello, young man. With Belle actually stopping what he was doing, as he would look over and say, Oh, your name's Zeus, right? As he would then get back to doing what he was doing. And Zeus would just put himself in front of him, saying, Strike me. I want to teach you a few things. After a few hours, Zeus zaps Belle as a picture comes flying out of Zeus's pocket. As it floats in front of Belle, and so you would see an image of a girl with her hair and face covered, and him standing there smiling. As Belle would pick it up, as Zeus would just whisper to himself, saying, Damn it! I didn't want him to see that part. Damn. By the gods, they're all going to hate me from this one. As Belle would just say, Well, I recognise one person in the picture, but I don't recognise the girl. That's me and some girl, so... Meh. I believe this is yours, Zeus. As Zeus would say, Thank you, but, that's actually yours. Your, mother gave it to me. As Belle would get a flashback of Mia, as he would just say, She's not my mother. She's my adoptive mother. As Zeus would just say, Yes, but your heart still sees her as your mother. So please, tell me, young Belle, what's truly on your mind? As Belle explains a few things. And another time skip, we skip 6 years, another 5 years later. He was 13, now he's 18. I believe that's how you get up to 18. I'll have to figure that out later on. As well, Belle and Hammer, over the few years, have gotten to know each other's strengths and weaknesses. As well, they both move back into Orario. With a lot of people actually seeing them, saying, Isn't that a warden? That's not just one warden, that's two. They're two wardens. Look at that guy. Wait, does he have two short swords on his back? What is he going to do with them? I think that one sword will do it better. As some girl would just say to her lady friend, saying, Yeah, you're just saying that because you want to get in bed with him. As she would just say, No, I'm not saying that. Get your head out of the gutter. There's a girl there's a woman with black hair, white dress, with a blue ribbon, and she stands there in a corner, seeing these two walk past. As she recognises one of them, but not the other. And she just whispered to herself, saying, Hey, it's been 5 years. So I know that one's the guy called Hammer, from what Mamma Mia told me. And from when he left with Belle. I got one one familiar member. Perhaps I can get him as my second. But I think Loki may get a hold of him first. Oh well, it's worth a shot. As well. She walks off to Mamma Mia's place. As well, she gets a letter from somebody. As she opens it up, as it says, "Dear Miss Hestia, I'd like to inform you of the banquet for the gods. Coming up later this evening, or later sometime this week. We truly do not know when, but you have been invited. Please wear your smartest dress. Signed, Guild Hall." Or God Orario, or Orano, or whatever his name is. The guy who made the Guild Hall to begin with. As she would say, just sigh, saying, "Well, time for me to leave." And she would head home, just whistling to herself. Eventually, these two would reach the Guild Hall. As well, they would wait outside for a bit, as they are having a small discussion. As they walk in, everybody stops what they're doing to look at them, then goes back to what they were doing. As well, Belle and Hannah would just stand there and wait for a bit. As well, a girl would walk up to them, which is one of Miss Aina's other staff members that she works with, would walk up and ask them if they need help. With them saying, "Well, we're looking for a familiar to join." With Hestia, not Hestia, with this girl just saying, "If you're looking for a familiar to join, you just have to walk around and go and find it, I'm afraid. We can't really give you that much advice about it, because that's not actually our job." As they just bow saying, "Thank you, miss," as they'd walk off. With Miss Aina sort of walking up to her asking, "What was that all about?" As she would get a shrug as, well, a guy wearing a hat, red scarf, trousers, brown boots, a blue and orangey coloured jumper, and brown gloves with a ice lolly would just walk in saying, "I know who they are." Quite easily, in fact. As Miss Aina would just say, "Hermes, the messenger of the gods." "What are you doing here? You've only got one familiar member, so what are you doing here truly?" "Oh, just delivering messages, as the gods decree. But hey, I am here to, see things. I got rumors about these two heavily armed and armored individuals walking around. And now that I've seen them, very interesting. The power is great." As well, Miss Aina would just say, "Hermes, get down to the point. What are you truly doing here? I'm not stupid. You're up to something again, aren't you?" With Hermes just smirking, saying, "I'm not up to anything, I promise. You wound my trust greatly." As he would just finish the ice lolly he was having, as he would just start chewing on the wooden bit, as he would just say, "As I said, I was just here to see if the rumors were true about these, armored individuals. Gotta say, I'm not disappointed in them." As he would hear a barking sound, as he would turn around to see Delta, as he would lean down as Delta would just bark at him again. As he would just say, "Easy now, girl, easy." As Miss Aina would say, "Huh, Delta? She doesn't usually come here often. Not unless it was with Miss Mia or her familiar member, or her waitress. One of her waitresses who works there part-time. She's a familiar member." Huh. As, well, Delta would bark again and walk over to Miss Aina, as Miss Aina would pat her on the head, as she would see that she actually has a message on her leg, as she would grab it, saying, "Ah, that's why you're here. Okay." As she would read the paper, as she would roll it back up again, saying, "Okay, I'll be there soon." As Delta just barks again and runs off, running all the way back to the Hostess of Fertility. As well, people would still be drinking because it's getting late. As some people would not really be getting rowdy because they know of Mamma Mia's anger, kind of. Let's just say this: Mamma Mia got very, very upset and depressed when Belle left, because she felt like she failed him and he'll never forgive her. But honestly, though, in my personal opinion, I'm sort of going to stop here. If you found out that somebody was not actually your real mother, just your adoptive mother, and you felt they would be lying to you, would you actually forgive them or not? Type that down in the comments. As well, Mia sees some people just talking, as somebody would sit in a chair, ordering a special as she would give it to them. A few minutes later, as well, she would notice somebody getting rowdy. As she would slam a fist into the table, onto the desk like she usually does, saying, "If you two want a tickle fight, take it outside." As they would just gulp and say, "Sorry, Miss Mia," as they would quickly leave. As somebody would walk up to her saying, in a sort of a soft voice, saying, "Miss Mia, please, calm down. Your anger doesn't do anybody any good here." And she would sort of snap her head around to see who it was, and she says, "Sorry, Eyes, but you know how I feel about people getting rowdy. I still expect him to walk through that door and just put a big grin on his face and saying, 'Hey Mum, how you doing?'" As Eyes would just say, "After what I heard, he may not be coming through here with a smile, but he may be coming through here a bit more mature than everybody else. Trust me, I will know, because I've can see him as a very mature young man with a very broad and strong look." And she would sort of blush at the mere thought of it, as Miss Mia would just say, "I hope you're right, Eyes. I hope you're right." And she would sort of have tears going down her eyes, as a few more people would get rowdy, a lot more than usual. As the doors would suddenly burst open, as two armoured individuals would walk through. One in blue and white, and one in red and white. As, well, somebody actually brings a dagger and tries to stab one of the waitresses, with the one with red and white grabbing the blade and, well, sending it through a window. Only grab the guy and slam his head up against the roof, then toss him through the door. For him to only come running back in as Belle, well, they don't know it's Belle yet, is Belle just one taps him in the face, sending him back out the door. As he would just shout, but because he's got the helmet on, it's muffled as he would just shout, "And stay out! If any of you want to cause trouble here again, feel free to try me." As the guy in blue and white would just grab his shoulder and say, "Calm down, warden." As everybody would hear the word warden, as everybody would actually simmer down pretty quickly. Because they've heard a lot of rumours about this red and white guy called Warden. And they do not want to get on his bad side. As they would then sit down and order some food. As well, Eyes Vonstein would walk over to them as she would take their orders, as Belle would just say, "Can I have the special, please? With a few extra spices. And don't try and scam me, whatever you do, because I am not in the mood for scammers." And she would just say, "I am not going to scam you out of your food, so don't worry." As well, she would go back behind the bar and make the food, as Mamma Mia would keep an eye on everything. As well, Hammer would just say quietly, but not quiet enough, because Mamma Mia heard it, as he would just say, well, as soon as he said this, Eyes walked through as well, as he would say, "Belle, give it a break, would you? People are trying to eat. The anger will not help you out in this situation. Remember that. And besides, I called you a warden, not Lord Warden, just yet. I know, I'm not up to my father's skills." As well, Eyes would drop the plate as Mamma Mia would just say, "Belle?" As everybody would sort of stop, as Mamma Mia would say, "Everybody out, quick, everybody out. I'll put all the food free. The food's free on the house tomorrow." As everybody would just quickly get up and leave, because this seems to be a bit of a family reunion. Even the drunk guys get it. And as they leave, Eyes says, "Impossible. It's been 5 years and he's grown so tall. Even though he was 13, he was barely my height. And now he towers over me." As he would just say, "Don't know who you are. I don't know who she is either. Looks like we need to go somewhere else to get food." As Hammer would just facepalm, saying, "Seriously, you're still mad about this? You're mad? Especially after what he said? Just forgive and forget. You need to understand, Belle, holding on to that anger will not get you anywhere." As Belle would just say, "And yet, here we are. I will not be sitting here having another lecture about my anger towards a certain person for lying to me most of my life. That was most of my life. She was lying directly to my face. So do you think I will wait and get another lecture again? No, thank you." As he would get up and walk away. with hammers just shouting, "Belle, Crenell, get your backside back here!" As he would just get a middle finger as he would walk out. As Hammer would just sigh, saying, "Oh, damn you, boy, damn you, and damn you to hell." And back again. Whenever you feel like you have been betrayed, you run off. I'm sorry about that, Miss Mia. As he would take off his helmet, showing the same hair. Just slightly longer with a few more scars. Well, with a few scars. As he would just say, "I was hoping Belle would get over this, but apparently I was wrong." With Mamma Mia just saying, "I just wanted to apologize to him and say I'm sorry, I was wrong to hide the truth from you. But how could I tell when I felt like he was ready? If I told him when he was younger, he would have listened, but it would have all been lost over him. I just can't bring myself to tell him that I'm sorry, that I lied to him. He deserves the truth, but how do I tell him? Yes, I lied to you. What else could I have done? Please just come back to me and tell me what I could do to help you get over this transgression. Nobody deserves this. Not even me." "Well, I guess I do deserve it. Just a bit." "But why? I fed him, I raised him, I gave him a home, I took him to school, I did everything." With eyes perking up, saying, "He made a few friends in school. He met me. He changed my life around. For some parts of my life, I just wanted nothing but revenge. But his attitude is so infectious, it got me to see things from a different point of view. He is stronger than anybody else I've ever seen. He's just so different. So infectious with his attitude and his outlook on life. It's hard to see him as this now. I'd hate to see him as a angry, berserking individual. I just can't stomach the thought. But, Miss Mia, it might be wise if you let him go. He may not forgive or even want to, well, not even forgive. He may not even want to even see you again. From the attitude we just got, it sounds like he's done. He no longer wants to see you or have anything to do with you anymore. I know it's harsh for me to say this, but Belle may just no longer want to see you again. I know it's wrong for me to say that, but it may just have to be, I'm afraid. Anyway, I'll leave before I say anything more to offend you. As she would walk out the door with a very sad look on her face, with Miss Mia just sighing and sitting down, saying, "She's not wrong. After what I did to him to make him feel like he was wanted, then all of a sudden for that whole thing to slap him in the face and say, yeah, I have been lying to you all your life. But I did it out of love and out of respect for him. I couldn't, as I said, I couldn't tell a child that, oh, I'm not actually your real mother, I'm just your adoptive mother. I can't just... I should put head in her hands as she'll start crying. And she'll just start muttering, I just can't. I'm just a failure. I failed as being a mother, I failed at... I just failed. No matter how hard I try, I just fail. And Hamill will put his hand on her shoulder, saying, you did well to raise him. He is a lot stronger than he looks. But you must understand, Miss Mia. He is not the boy you remember anymore. He is a lot stronger, a lot stricter, far more powerful than even I can imagine. Hell, he was even trained by a god himself. Miss Mia would, well, as Mamma Mia would look up, saying, God trained him? As he would say, yes. The lightning god himself, Zeus. As Miss Mia would say, Zeus is dead, isn't he? As he would just say, no, he's not dead. He's still thoroughly alive. He's walking around. Well, he's walking around. Let's just say that. Took me a while to teach Belle the basics of sword combat. But once he learned the basics, he took to the rest like a duck to water. And, well, he found an image of him and a girl. The girl's face was covered, along with her hair. But I think I may know who that image was of. That girl. Eyes Wallenstein, I think you called her, didn't you? As she would just nod, saying, yeah. Her name is Eyes Wallenstein, and she's a very strong young lady. Passionate, kind, a bit socially awkward, but that's only when she's flustered or jealous about something. Oh, what's she jealous of? She's jealous of Belle. Didn't you see the way she acted? I saw and heard everything. Because you forget I was right here when she said these things. Every day she comes here, works, takes a break every hour or two. She takes a break. She sits at the window and peers out of it. Whenever she sees somebody with white hair, she immediately believes that it's Belle. As she gets up and ready to welcome him home. But when they turn around, they have a different face color, different color to their skin, different eye colors, or everything else. Then she loses hope. But she still sits there, day in, day out. She works, sits there for a few minutes, then gets back to work. Rinse and repeat. Sure, there are a few nights where she couldn't do that because we were so busy, but she still sits there after a while. Sits there waiting for him. As, well, Hammer would just perk up again saying, "You believe she loves him, don't you?" As, well, she would, Mamma Mia would just say, "I believe there is something there. Something that even she's not aware of. I'm no fool. Sometimes when she thinks I'm not looking, I will peer up and see her sitting there, or sitting in a different corner, holding on to her chest, where her heart is. And she'll just whisper to herself, saying, 'Calm down, calm down, calm down. Stop thinking of him, stop thinking of him, stop thinking of him.' So you think it's one of these children loves. One where she's loved him ever since she was younger. Yes, I believe so. But I also believe she's trying to keep herself focused to become stronger than him, or strong like him, to be on his level, so she can always be there for him. She's a beautiful young girl, but very, very naive. I will give her her dues, she has her ways, but she also is very, how do I put it, self-focused? No, single-minded. Whenever she works here, she's still singly minded on catching Belle, catching his eye, making him look at her and, well, giving her a bit of appraisal. Ah, it's self-worth she wants. She wants the self-worth of self-recognition. She wants to be recognized by the one she loves the most. Indeed. I should know because I have told her, speaking to her about certain things, and she just told me the truth. Saying she's here to catch the eyes of my baby boy Belle. But 5 years pass and she's still hasn't lost that one drive to be him, to be by his side, as a friend or as a lover. But you know how teenagers are when they have that sort of sparkle in their eyes. Because I bet you were like that one time. As Hammer would just say, "I hate to admit it, but you're right. I was like that." As he would lower his head once. As Mamma Mia would say, "I'm sorry, I didn't want to bring up bad memories." As he would say, "It's alright. It was a long time ago. She's long gone now." As Mamma Mia would just say, "I'm sorry for your loss." As he would say, "Oh, no, she's not gone like that. She's married and got kids of her own to deal with, so I just moved on with my life." But it doesn't mean I don't stop thinking about her. Thinking of how her kids are doing, thinking of how she's coping with them, hoping that her husband isn't an absolute dick to her or anything. I just I just move on. Just move on and think, what could I do better to save people's lives? That became my biggest focus point. Bigger than anything else. As a woman would walk in saying, Miss Mia, there was a. As she'd hold her tongue and she'd say, I'm sorry, I didn't realise you were speaking to somebody. As she would, well, sort of stare at Hannah as she would go slightly red in the face as she would say, I'm sorry, I'll leave you to it. As she would leave. As Mamma Mia would just say, huh, I think you just found someone. As Hannah would just say, doubt it. I'm a lot older than I look. As she would say, how old are you? As he would just say, 30. I'm in my 30s. I may look like I'm in my 20s, but I'm in my 30s. 35. And I've been training young Master Belle for so long. I see him as my own son, even though he is the prince of our land. The rightful heir to the throne, unlike that weak, pathetic king we still have. As, well, Belle's point of view, after leaving Mamma Mia's place, he walks around Orario for some time, as he would just say, stupid man. He knows I don't like going there, so why the hell did he take me? Ugh. I swear, people have the nerves to think that they can do whatever they want and get away with it. No. As he, well, finds a stairwell leading up to the, well, battlements that ring around Orario. As he would walk up them, as he would just stand there, staring out into the distance, as he would just take off his helmet, not really realizing that he was kind of followed, not on purpose, but by accident. As he would just take it off, revealing long white hair, well, longish white hair, with hints of fresh cuts and scars. As he would just sigh, saying, after what she did, I don't think I'll ever be able to forgive her. Sure, the way I acted was a bit harsh and rude, but I wasn't particularly in the best mood anyway. Then he had to take me to the one place I didn't want to see for a while, for a long, long time. Sure, it was nice to see the place again, but it just brought back too many bad memories. Well, too many good memories, I should really be saying. And also some of the bad. As he would look up to the sky, saying, I'm sorry, but if this message ever reaches my parents up there, I wish you could come down to the planet again. Give me a bit of advice on how to do things, how to basically say sorry to people. How do I even get people's acknowledgement again? Sure, when I walked into Orario again after 5 years, sure, the people looking at me, and I've already got a few ladies after me as well. I have a rough feeling about that. As he would pull out a picture of him and, again, Eyes Vonstein. As he would just say, I wish I knew who this one was. Because I sure as hell don't remember anything about my childhood. Honestly, I believe my memory's getting worse and worse as the years go by. Like I'm becoming single-minded again. Like I was back in those days. And so just look down again and just say, go onto his knee and just turn himself around and lie out and just sit with his back against the wall with Riven beside him. As he just sighs, saying, I wish you were here, Mum, and I wish you were here, Dad. It would have been nice to know who you guys were. Even if I am a prince, and I do have a duty to the people of Westmarch, as I was told I do. But I don't feel like I do have a duty towards them. I barely knew Westmarch, and the dreams I've been having of me within Westmarch facing down this Gale guy to avenge your deaths, but I barely even know you two. The only woman I know is Mamma Mia, and the only guy I know is Hammer. But how do I... How do I even... How do I tell her that I'm sorry for what I said and for what I've done? But as a girl would just say, well, how about you just tell her that you're sorry and tell her that you were wrong to say those things. As he would look to his side, where the voice came from, as he would see eyes of Wallenstein in battle armor, as he would say, eyes Wallenstein, right? As she would say, yes, it's me. It's nice to see you again, Belle. As he would just look up saying, no offense, eyes, but you barely know me. So why would you truly come to see me? And she would just say, well, I was coming up here to train for a bit. Train on my running skills, my athletic skills. There we go. Athletic skills and swordman skills. Or swordwoman skills. Because I'm not exactly a man, so I can't call it swordsmanship. As Belle would just chuckle, saying, fair enough. His eyes would just walk to his other side, as she would sit down next to him, saying, I overheard you talking about your parents. I didn't mean to, you started talking about them as I was walking up to you. It was far be it for me to interrupt your train of thought, so I just let you ramble for a bit. Please believe me, I didn't mean to sneak up on you. It was your decision to start talking about your parents, and you did. I'm not against it. Sometimes I think of my own parents as well, who died after the Black Dragon killed them. They were part of the Zeus familiar, and some people who I know were in the Athena familiar. and they all died. As well, Belle says, I should know. I know that. Zeus and Athena told me that themselves. As eyes would look at him saying, you spoke to the gods? Yourself? As Belle would just say, not physically spoken to him, I overheard them talking about it. Zeus and Athena are both deeply scarred by it. I mean, very deeply scarred by it. Zeus even says if he had to face the Black Dragon again, he would rather do it with wardens by its side than anything else. Because we seem to be more physically inept and physically adept and mentally adept as well to stave off the Black Dragon's power of corruption. Which I believe that's where this Garrel guy got his power to control others. With eyes just saying, do you think he is controlling your parents? Or do you think they're dead? With Belle just saying, that's a bit personal there, Eyes. But I will answer that question. I don't know. And she'd say, I'm sorry for butting in. I know it was none of my business, but I understand, Eyes. You just want to make idle chit chat. I know. But in the end, it's up to me if I tell you or not. Doesn't mean I don't appreciate you trying to get to know me at all. Be perfectly truthful with you, I'm actually glad somebody is trying to get to know me. Unlike others who just don't want to know who I am, they just are fanboying or fangirling over me. Due to me being a warden and being the heir to a throne that I know nothing about. As Eyes would just say, so? What does that have to do with anything? It's your life, your decision, whether you take that throne or not. Don't let anybody else tell you otherwise. It's your decision. You take it or you don't. It's better than what my parents left me. They left me nothing but a gaping hole in my heart. One that was filled by, well, a very strong man who had strength with an abundance. He took on everybody. One day, when I was being bullied at school, he jumped in front of a bully who was about to punch me in the face, and he took it himself. Only for the bullies to get angry and start attacking him, but he just then, with one singular motion, took them all out. Obviously, it took actually a lot longer than that, but to me, it was like an avenging angel who was coming down to strike upon the guilty and defend the weak. And ever since then, I strove to be him, strove to fight like him, strove to be, well, beside him. I just strove to be more cunning. As Eyes would just say, yeah, and more strong. To have him openly recognize me as an equal. With Belle not actually getting the hint that it's him, he just says, well, there are a lot of people out there, guys, that feel the same way, but just don't have the courage to say that they'll defend the weak. A lot of these familiars will just take what they want and leave everybody else in the dust. Trust me, I've seen a few familiars like this already. Like them already. As she would just say, like who? As he would just say, Freya familiar, Ishtar familiar, the showman familiar, whatever his name is, Gargantian or whatever. A lot of people don't really care about their familiars. All the gods just care about the praises they get and everything else about how their familiars are so strong. Loki seems to be one who seems to care for her familiar, but also is infatuated with one of them, which I find very distasteful. As Eyes would say, just simply say, "What do you mean?" As he would just say, "Have you ever wondered about, well, your own life, and how people see you?" With Eyes just saying, "I don't really follow, what do you mean?" As he would just say, "The way people see you is often the way they will portray you. A lot of people portray me as this strong, tall, deadly warrior. After after 3 years of training, I eventually got the armor you see on me now. I went to a town with my master, well, with my mentor, Hammer, as he calls himself still. I don't truly know his real name. We went to a village that was being attacked by bandits. When we walked in, that was the first time I ever took a life. It was the first time I ever took a life, and it was not the last. Because a few months after the attack happened, we left the village and were immediately ambushed by others. A few of the town folk was actually on their way to the markets in one of the bigger cities. And bandits just attacked us then and there, straight on the spot. We held them off as best as we could. But the civilians never made it. They all died. Every last one of them. Some men, a few women, and a few children too. They all died. We made sure the bandits paid for their transgressions, but the children. They killed the children like it was nothing to them. It was just one big game of who could get the best rewards from the best caravans. We spent weeks searching for their camp. And eventually we found their camp, deserted, but with bodies all over the place. But then we saw it. These agents of death. They are so powerful. So powerful. They even scared me from when I first looked at them. There were easily 20 bandits there, and this one person just took them all on single-handedly and ripped them all apart, one by one. Well, that's what it seemed like it was. But it just turned out to be one person just cleaning up the dead bodies. He turned to us and said, "More bandits." As he actually did take a closer look at us, he realized who we were, as he would just say, "Why are you here, wardens? You should be in the capital city of West March, protecting the king." As well, we just drew our swords. We said we do not work for the king, as he just called us traitors, and said your deaths will be swift and painless. As Hammer actually clashed swords with him first, and said, "I recognize that voice. James, what has happened to you?" As this guy actually recognized him as well and says, "Hammer, please kill me. I am not fully in control. And if you found the prince, please train him, save him, keep him safe." As he would just say, or as Hammer says, "I've already found him, and I've already kept him safe. I am even training him right now, James. But is there any way to break this spell?" As James just replied to his answer saying no. There wasn't any answer. There wasn't any way to break the spell. It was a spell of binding. Only the man who he has been bound to can undo the spell. Even in death, the spell will still continue. The only way out for him is death. But before Hammer killed James, he said in a whispering tone, saying, "But I have seen them." As he would say this, continued saying, he has seen the former king and queen in the same armor. He should know he knows because of their voices. One time he found them wandering around saying, "I do not like this. Our bodies are moving on their own, going to kill our own son. We must find a way to break this binding seal. But every time we try, more and more of our will is gone." As the Lord Warden said to her, back to her, "I know, my love. We can only hope that our son survives and avenges our deaths." And then Hammer killed him, saying, "Live in peace now, my brother. Live in peace." As the binding seal that bound him to this Garrel person faded, as Iris has actually got her hands covering her mouth, as she just then says, So your parents are still alive?" They're just being, what, held hostage? Against their own will? As Belle just nods, saying, yes. As both eyes just saying, that is even crueler than even I could imagine. No one should ever live through this. I'm so sorry, Belle. As she actually hugs him, saying, I know this is sudden coming from a stranger, but that's just a hug saying, if you ever need someone to talk to, come find me. I'm in the Hestia Familiar. She's a very kind and sweet goddess. She cares greatly about her familiar members. I am her only child at the minute. But if you ever do decide to join, please, teach me on how to become strong like you. And I will come with you. Whenever you want to go back and reclaim your throne, I will come with you. Not just as a familiar member, but as a friend. As Belle would just grin, saying, thank you, but thank you, Eyes. I might take you up on that offer. As Eyes would just smile, saying, you're most welcome, Belle. As she would shake his hand, as she would sort of walk off with a smile on her face, as she would look over to him as he would put his helmet back on. As in a monologue saying, I actually hugged him. I actually hugged him. Oh my god. Calm down, calm down, calm down. Be stoic, be stoic. But oh my god, I hugged him. That's actually where I'm ending it. Guys, hope you like, comment, and subscribe. I'm actually going to end this here now and go and get some lunch. Because my stomach is growling like hell. Like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.